This is about 8 years old ASUS laptop with weak performance and not in a fully functional condition. Hey, what's up everyone, I'm Andrew, and in this video we're gonna make a few changes, a few upgrades, and we're gonna back this laptop in function again. But also, we're gonna turn this laptop into a pretty nice gaming machine. Now, let's start, and first let's take a look from where I began. This is ASUS K53E laptop. These models are released in 2011, and most of them are coming with entry-level performance. So this laptop has an Intel Pentium B940 processor. This is dual-core processor running at 2 GHz, and this processor has a second generation of Intel HD graphics. The RAM on this laptop is 2 GB DDR3, and the hard disk is 320 GB, but unfortunately the hard disk is not in a functional condition. Except the low specs, this laptop has a few small physical damages over the case. The entire keyboard is not working, probably liquid damage, and the battery is not working also. So basically this is the temporary condition of this laptop. Okay, let's start, and first I will start with disassembling. And first I will start from the bottom side. First I will remove the small plastic panel, and under the panel I will remove the hard disk, the Wi-Fi and the RAM. And then I will continue with removing all screws from the bottom side. Now, after all screws from the bottom side are removed, now I will turn the laptop from the other side, and first I will remove the keyboard. The keyboard on this model is easily removable. In the upper side there is 5 clamps which actually are holding the keyboard. And to release the keyboard I just need to push these clamps down. Now, under the keyboard, first I will continue with removing the other screws. And then I will remove the small flex cables from the trackpad and the power button, and I will remove the CD-ROM. Well, after all is done here, now using the plastic spider tool, I will separate the top case from the bottom case. Okay, now let's continue with the motherboard. On the motherboard, first I will disconnect all connected cables. The USB flex cable, the speakers and the display's flex cable. And then I will remove the screws that are holding the motherboard. Now, after I take out the motherboard from the case, I will move on the display. And first I will start with removing the display's bezel. Actually I done this because I want to check the upper part and I will clean the display. So now, to clean the display, I will use a 96% alcohol, very soft cleaning cloths, air sticks, and soft brush. If you're going to clean some display, you need to be very careful. Especially be careful with the display electronics and never put any kind of liquid on the display edges. The display is very sensitive on the edges, and if the liquid goes there, then you may damage the entire display. Now, after finished with the upper part and cleaning the display, I will clean the top and the bottom case from dust and other dirt. Also, to clean the case and even the motherboard, mostly I'm using a soft brush. This brush is good enough to clean the dust, but also is soft enough to not cause some damage. So now, after I finish with cleaning the case and the display, let's move on the keyboard. The keyboard on this laptop is not working, so I had to find a new one. But because I want to save some money, I found and I got a used keyboard. At the first look, these keyboards are looking different, but actually the both keyboards are the same, just with a different design. Now, before I continue with something other, first I will clean the keyboard that I got. Well, after I clean the keyboard, now let's move on the final modification. Because the top case on the laptop is scratched and cracked on some places, over the case I will stick black carbon vinyl. This vinyl actually will cover the scratches and will make the case more durable. Well, this is it. Now, before I assemble the laptop, it's time to make some upgrades. The first upgrade is the processor. From Intel Pentium B940, I will upgrade to Intel Core i5-2450M. The Intel Core i5-2450M is a 2-core 4-threads processor with Intel HD 3000 graphics. Compared to the Pentium B940, this Intel i5 is better, more than double, and it's newer. Now, after I upgrade the processor, it's time to assemble the laptop. So now the laptop is almost fully assembled, and now it's time to make the final upgrades. So instead, using a hard disk, I will use a 240 gigs Kingston SSD. The SSD in this case will a little bit boost the performance. And from 2 gigs of RAM, I will upgrade to 8 gigs. Well, basically this is it, but as finish, I'm gonna make one more upgrade. Instead of using a CD-ROM, I will install an additional 750 gigs hard disk. To install the second disk, I will use Disk Caddy. Using Disk Caddy is a great option to add another disk in your laptop and expand the storage. So in this case, the SSD will be for the Windows and some games, and the hard disk will be for the data and some games also. Now, after all is done, I continue with making the final tests. I want to be sure that all is working well. And basically all is working good. And now I can continue with other things. First, I will update the BIOS. I done this because I need a newer BIOS version for the next upgrade. But in the most of cases, if the laptop's battery is not working, then the system security won't let to make the update. But the ASUS has one very simple trick. On the keyboard, I will type risky, and I'm ready to go. This is not really recommended, but in some cases is necessary. So basically, this is how I update the BIOS on this laptop. Well, after I update the BIOS, it's time to move on installing the Windows 10. And the great thing here is, this laptop has connected a Windows 7 license. The Windows 7 license can be used to activate the Windows 10 also. So after installing the Windows 10, I did online activation. And the Windows 10 was successfully activated. And with this, I saved some money from buying another license. And after all, finally this laptop is fully functional again. And this is how this laptop is looking. In a current condition, basically this laptop is good enough for doing all basics. I mean, it's good enough for all daily stuff, like web browsing, music, watching movies, but especially was surprised when I tried to watch a 4K video. The 4K videos are going pretty well without any issue or lags. About games. Because this laptop has onboard Intel HD 3000 graphics, I can only play low graphic games and some older games. But this is for now only. Before I continue with something, first I tested a few games on this laptop. I tried to play the GTA 5 and the Fortnight. The GTA 5 on this laptop actually is running, but using all minimum settings and 800x600 resolution. The game is running pretty slow, and the average frame rate is about or under 10. The graphics are far from satisfying and the game is not really playable. Actually, how you can see, everything is going very slow. When I try to play the Fortnite, the game simply does not work. Probably now, this laptop does not meet the minimum system requirements. But however, I'm not gonna stop here and I will add something that will change the story. On this laptop, I will connect an external desktop GPU, also known as eGPU. And this is my very simple eGPU setup. This setup is made from EXP GDC 8.5C dock. The connection goes over mini PCI Express cable. The power supply is Cooler Master 460 watt real power. The case is made from aluminum rails and it has a very simple design. And the GPU that I'm going to use now is Nvidia GTX 960 with 4 gigs of video memory. However, I've tried to go with something newer like the Nvidia GTX 1660, but simply this laptop is too old and it won't accept this GPU. Even I tried to use a custom BIOS, BIOS that unlocks everything, but the chipset and the hardware is too old for this new graphic card. But however, the GTX 960 will be done a good job here. Connecting the eGPU in this case isn't complicated, and all that I have to do is to connect the mini PCI Express cable in the mini PCI Express slot on the laptop. But this action requests to remove the Wi-Fi. However, during the eGPU is connected, I will need to use a USB Wi-Fi dongle to get an internet connection. Also, the eGPU can be connected and disconnected again and again and again. How many times I want. If I need an extra power, I can connect and use the eGPU. But later, I can disconnect the eGPU, and I can take the laptop wherever I go as usually. The Nvidia drivers, I got it from the official website, and I used regular desktop drivers, because, however, this is a desktop GPU. After install the drivers, I done all tests to be sure that all is working well. And on this laptop, the GPU is working pretty well, without any issue. After I done all tests, I tried to move on the internal display. Instead of using a desktop monitor, to use the laptop's display. But after making all possible combinations, nothing's work. So in this case, I will need to use a desktop monitor while the eGPU is connected. Now, let's take a look at the performance with the eGPU. All basic things on this laptop are working a little bit faster than before. The basic things on the laptop are working a little bit faster now. And this laptop is good for all basics again. But the most noticeable difference is in graphics. Loading some very heavy web pages and playing high-resolution videos, on 2K videos and 4K videos, is going much faster than before, and this difference is very noticeable. Now let's see how the games are running. First, I will start with the GTA 5. The GTA 5 with eGPU is running far better than before. Previously, without the eGPU, I got about or mostly under 10 FPS, using 800x600 resolution and all settings to low. But using eGPU, the average frame rate is about 40 to 45, but using all high and very high settings and 1080p resolution. So basically, this is a huge jump in performance. Now let's see how the Fortnight is running. The Fortnight without the eGPU won't even start, but using the eGPU, again all is far better. In Fortnight, I used the 1080p resolution and all high settings, and the average frame rate is about 50, but sometimes the frame rate goes even over 55 or 60, and basically the game is running pretty well and very smooth, without any lags or issues. Well, basically this is all about this ASUS laptop and eGPU. This laptop without the eGPU is good for all daily tasks and some low graphic games. With eGPU, all is a different story. The laptop is much faster and is good enough to run the latest PC games. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope this video will give some ideas and inspiration. And if you want to support me to grow this channel, you can press the subscribe button. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.